Thanks for joining me here on this beautiful day here in the Ozarks. It's about 60 degrees. We've had a ton of rain and I'm really enjoying this little creek right behind my house. So today I just wanted to give you an update from my last video when I talked about the coronavirus and things shutting down in Branson, and it was really quite alarming to a lot of us here. But we're dealing with it the best we can, and I just wanted to give you an update as to what's going on here locally and what has happened to the real estate market since I last made that video. Also remember to hit that bell, subscribe to my videos if you'd like to see any more information about the Branson area and the Ozarks. As you can see, everybody has been home and there's nothing going on in Branson. All of that is kind of closed down for the moment as far as businesses and all of your attractions still. A lot of people have been spending time with their families. They've been getting outside. It's really been kind of a nice break, but I've still been busy with real estate as far as taking calls, and I do have a client tomorrow that I'm showing properties to. And a lot of people are like, well, you know, you can't leave your home. Are realtors still allowed to go out and work? And that was kind of a question that a lot of realtors had last week. And so they included us as an essential business, just like title companies, construction workers. So we're still able to get out and work at the moment. And I'll just start with what's been going on in our Lakes MLS. So I just looked at all of the actives versus the pendings for each week in March. And the first week in March I have my little notes here, my little cheat sheet. So the first week in March, we had 92 active new listings and then 65 pending listings. The second week of March, we had 105 new listings and 64 pendings. So the first couple weeks before this coronavirus just, spread all over the news, and, people in the Midwest were really not worried about it a couple of weeks ago. Now they are. So you're going to see a slight change in the numbers. Okay, so the third week in March, we had 67 new listings and we had 42 pendings. So the fourth week in March, that was last week, we had 61 new listings and 47 pendings. So the past 2 weeks have kind of been the same, but you can tell a slight drop, a slight difference in the first 2 weeks. Coronavirus today, we have 1,327 cases and 14 have died in the state of Missouri. In my last video, I think I said that there was 190 something cases, so that has grown just in about a week and a half. But overall, things are still moving. People are still listing their homes, and buyers are still buying at the present time. It's a little bit lower than the first 2 weeks of March, but a little bit of a drop, but not really that bad. So a little bit about what you can expect in the future as far as the real estate market. It's kind of hard to tell right now. A lot of people are speculating that we're going to have a big downturn with foreclosures and short sales. That's going to depend on what happens in the next month, and I can tell you, if things keep going steadily as they are, I don't see a really big downturn until later. What I'm afraid of is, the banks are kind of ramping up for this big downturn with people losing their jobs and not being able to pay their mortgage. And so that's why you're seeing banks that are going to be offering, not to pay your mortgage for 6 months or 3 months or however long. So they're just going to be postponing that payment. So really what the banks are doing, they're expecting a downturn, but they're trying to kind of put a band-aid on it and make it later in the year. They're going to prolong it as long as possible. So you can really compare it to this coronavirus, right? Because by staying away from people, we're going to save lives, but it's going to make the virus last longer over time. So you can compare that to our financial situation. So hopefully by June 1st, I expect Branson to possibly open up. We're just gonna have to see how things go. I hate to really predict anything at this time, but I'm glad that sellers are still listing and buyers are still buying, although it's not as hot of a market as it was in the first 2 weeks of March. It's good to see that we're still active. I hope to see you guys soon in Branson. If it's not this spring, maybe this summer. But hey, just let me know if you're interested in any kind of properties. I'd be glad to do a video conference with you and send you listings, whatever I can do to help you with your buying and selling needs. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you next week with something new.